Hi y'all, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com, and today I am here to share a very fun patchwork scrappy project with you that will be perfect for holiday gifting and or New Year's organization. So what it is it's a large bin crafted from a lot of different pieces of fabric, and then to make this different than most, what I've done is incorporate a clear vinyl pocket, so you could slip a holiday message in there. You could put, of course, the contents. You could put someone's name inside of there. There's a lot of really good options for that, and depending upon what fabric you use, this could be fabulous for all different occasions. So the finished project measures approximately 8.5 by 8.5, and I have used little leather handles on there. You could, of course, craft fabric handles, or you could use the handle webbing as well. You could completely omit the handles if you like. Another way to style this is to fold that top edge over so that you see that interior fabric as an accent, and then that top edge also will seal up that pocket so your note or card does not fall out of there. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this. As part of the process, I clarify two things for you. One, how I sort fabric for patchwork design, and then also how I attach those side seams and the base seams using that T method of construction. So just to clarify, when you're sewing those seams, and the initial seams you'll sew from the top to the bottom, but then the connecting seams are only sewn from seam to seam. So keep your ear tuned for those keywords in the tutorial, and then hopefully that will eliminate any confusion you all have. So shall we get started? So to begin, you are going to choose your fabrics and then cut those into varying widths by 10 inches in height. And when I'm making the patchwork designs, what I do is I'll have the prints that I feel are more vibrant, or my pops of color, if you will, and I'll sort those into one pile, and then the prints which are my neutrals and less dramatic will be in another pile. And then I just use a pattern system, and I'll go 2 neutrals, 1 pop, 2 neutrals, 1 pop. And so then I take all of those strips and sew them together. So you can see here the pattern A, B, B. And I sewed one big long strip. We're going to need 52 inches in total, 52 inches by 10 inches tall. So let me just see, there's 10, 20, 30, 40, and I'm a little bit shy, so I'm going to add one more strip to this. So I just have my pop of color, so now I'm going to add a neutral, and you do that by just positioning the fabric right sides facing, and then using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, I attach that. Then you would press everything at the iron and begin cutting your individual panels from this larger strip. So I will need 4 10 by 10 panels and 1 12 by 10 panel. So we're going to work with this larger 10 by 12 panel first. I have a 6 by 5 inch piece of clear vinyl, which is going to create a little clear vinyl slip pocket on the front of this. What I've done is take a 3 by 6 inch strip of fabric, fold that in half, press, open that up and bring that inward, and then fold it over one more time to create a piece of trim for the top edge and the bottom edge of this vinyl pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that trim down. And now my vinyl pocket is framed out. I want to find center on this panel, which should be 6 inches. So I'm going to position this vinyl pocket right at the center of that. And I want to pin it in place at the top and the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is stitch across the bottom edge of that vinyl pocket. And now the pocket is attached at the bottom, and then because this panel is larger than the others, I can fold over those edges to meet up with the edge of that vinyl, and then stitch down either side using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance to capture that raw edge of that vinyl. Okay, and now I have a clear vinyl pocket installed on this panel. I just want to measure the panel and then true that up so it is also 10 inches. So I'm just going to have to trim off a smidgen off of this left-hand side. So now I'm going to take my remaining panels, which are 10 inches by 10 inches, and I'm going to use the T method of construction to attach those to create the box. So I have 5 panels, counting the one with the clear vinyl pocket. This clear vinyl pocket is going to need to be on one of the sides, of course, as opposed to the base. So let's begin with that and position one of the panels on top of that, right sides facing, and then using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, attach that. When attaching this panel, I did stitch from the top to the bottom, and I reinforced with a back stitch at both ends. Now I'm going to take the next panel and position that right sides facing on that vinyl pocket and stitch down that left side from the top to the bottom using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then when I open this up, I have my vinyl pocket in the center, and then to the left and the right, my side panels. Going to set that tri-panel aside for a moment, choose the panel that I would like on the base of this, and then the remaining side panel, and position those right sides facing and stitch down that left hand edge. Now I have a 2-part panel there. I want to bring back over the 3-part panel with that vinyl pocket in the center, and I'm going to position the 2-part panel on top of that vinyl pocket with the longer end heading towards the top, and I'm centering that. And this is the part where I think some of you get frustrated, and I just want to clarify. I'm stitching from seam to seam, not end to end. So you're going to stop short 5/8 of an inch on either side, and you can feel that bump from that seam. But if it's easier for you, mark it with a pin. So I'm stitching from this seam to this seam to attach. Okay, and then now when you open this up, you'll have something that looks like the big T, hence the T method. So we want to take this right-hand side and attach it to the right-hand side of that bottom panel. So you just bring this up, align the top first. And now same thing, you're going to stitch from the top to the seam only. And then you can see the cube taking shape there. I want to then attach the remaining side to this side. First I'm lining up the top, and then I'm stitching only to that bottom seam, from the top to the bottom seam. Now the cube is definitely taking shape there. I just want to close up those left and right hand corners. So I put my fingers in there and just pull that tight to a line, and I'm just stitch seam to seam, not end to end, just seam to seam. I'm going to repeat that process on the other side, pulling those nice and straight and stitching seam to seam. I want to turn that right side out. The vinyl pocket there is on the front. I want to take that top edge and fold that inward 1 inch, and then press that or pin that to hold it in place. And then my lining is crafted using the same T method of construction with 5 panels that measure 10 by 10, and each of those panels is backed with some Pellon 808 or Pellon 809 to offer that interior lots of body and stability. So I took that interior and I folded that edge over 1 inch, and I'm going to fit that right inside of my patchwork exterior. Okay, now I have that interior fitted inside of there, and it offers this project lots of stability. I want to take 2 pieces of leather which measure 9 inches long by 1 inch wide, and I'm going to center those handles on the sides in between the interior and the exterior of this bin, and put this up on the machine and stitch all the way around the perimeter, taking time to reinforce those handles. I will be back next week with another inspired project. Until then, please know the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. Have a beautiful week, everyone.